Boom! Salutations. Want to give a shout out to all the people in Patreon that have kept me going here, my little crew there. That's why this video is being made. Also a shout out to all the people that are subscribing to my YouTube channel, putting likes on there, sharing the videos. Please keep doing so. I appreciate you. Hit that bell, hit that notifications also so you get notified when I put something else out. Something interesting I want to touch on, alright? And a very interesting subject, and I didn't know it would get quite the attention that it did get. And that's this subject of Mel's Hole. Now, I've talked about this before, and I've done another video about Mel's Hole, and I'll put a link to that in the descriptions of the video, so that way, this one, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over what Mel's Hole was. Watch that video for that, along with a lot of the anomalies that went along with it, like the black light, the UFOs, the tumor seal, how the hole seems to be endless. These various things that are almost paranormal in nature about this hole, alright? Now, what is cool about this is that I gave this as a target the first time I joined Jessica Jones' remote viewing show. I gave her, and there was another nice lady by the name of Tonia Braddock that has her own show. But I gave both of them this target of Mel's Hole. And they both reviewed it, and their data was very similar what they got. Alright, and the data that they got wasn't quite what I expected. And that's why I think it's worthy doing another video about this, just to try to break it down of maybe what the science of it is and what we're seeing. Now, all the data that Tonia and Jessica were getting independently about this hole was showing this same thing to me, which was saying that this thing is a Tipler cylinder. What's called a Tipler cylinder, which was made behind a guy named Mike Tipler. Alright, I put some pictures of that up on the videos, on the beginning pictures and the end, so check those out. Alright, it describes what actually a Tipler cylinder is and how it's capable of doing time travel and various things it does. It's also a modality for time science, definitely. Alright, and everything they described about this hole described this as a Tipler cylinder, which is basically would be using the inertial drag frame of the Earth, okay, and encapsulating it in one of those cylinders to create time-like curves. All right, and you know, interestingly enough, that actually explains some of the things they're saying about that hole. How it is UFOs seem to be seen coming out of it and going into it at some point, and that black light we just mentioned, and all these other things. And even the seal itself, how we're dealing with, you drop something too far down there, you're dealing with the different contortions, the different energies, and the different cylinders and time-like curves, that all sorts of stuff can happen. I mean, that's really fascinating, I think, when dealing with what they picked up as opposed to what this hole might actually be. I think it puts another aspect to it. And for us to see how nothing could fill it up, you're dealing with dimensional there. And I think when you go within the Earth, down into close to the core and the mantle, the more the dimensional differences, the density and the forces start changing things. And the more you can go multidimensional and do these things. So if you create a type of a cylinder with this hole going all the way down there, you know, the rotation of it, that's going to be, I think, what we're looking at there. And it's good food for thought, if nothing else. The problems with a Tipler cylinder, okay, why it might not work when you look this up. One is that they say it will only work for the area in which it is built, okay? Meaning that that's going to be the time zones, the area it's built for the time zones that it's built. That's the only way that's going to work. And the next problem would be the infinite power source that it would need. But really when you start dealing with, you know, what could be, you want not even exotic matter as much, but when you start dealing with the Earth like that, the Earth is already on a rotation of its own, so that's going to already be something there that's going to be a constant for that hole itself, you know, to where it's kind of, it alleviates how that would exist as long as the Earth has. That first equation they're saying wouldn't work, that the Tipler cylinder would only exist as long as it's been built and only be able to operate within that time frame. Well, the Earth, and that has been here forever. That they're dealing with, that inertial frag drain, whole other thing going on. And I think that's fascinating to look at, and I think it should be looked at scientifically a little bit more. Anyway, I think also when dealing with these forces of the inner Earth and what they could be using as a power source, as the other problem with Tipler cylinders is the type of matter. When I say it could be a type of exotic matter, I think it's dark microbial matter, which is within our biosphere of the Earth. Okay, we've got 95% of the unknown bacteria I've talked about, and there's also a fungal component there too. But the bacteria, they're melanin dominant, and that's why they're calling these dark microbial matter. But I think that's also what exists inside a wormhole, also within a black hole. I've talked to Rudy Shields about this, and he didn't think it was so ridiculous. I think he talked to a few of the scientist friends about it. You know, not quite when he sparked, not bacteria, dark point of the matter, but actually the fungal component, and how that can already exist in space. Things like psilocybin that's resistant to solar radiation and things like that. So there's something else going on there. We deal with real dark matter and dark energy and what that is in connection to melanin itself. Anyway, that's what I think we're dealing with the Earth, in a way that maybe some of these things that could be possible problems with Tipler cylinders is alleviated. So I encourage you to look up what Tipler cylinders are, what Mike Tipler was doing, and what he was saying, and how they actually operate concerning closed time-like curves. And then check out Mel's Hole again. Look at the video I have up, and I'll put up a link to the video, and also a link up to the show that I did with Jessica Jones and Tonia Braddock about it. And you can check that out. It's just good information. It's good to have a couple of different things to back some things up and just elucidate things. You know what I mean? To what we're dealing with. And it's good to not walk around with these blinders on. So that's all I can say on that. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. Please press that notification button. Share these videos. Push the like on there. I appreciate everybody. I think I got it all. Peace.